Good morning. I'm Nathan Thompson with Manufacturing Engineering 490 Engineering Technology Management. I'm here to discuss the conclusion, closing out of my senior project. I will say that this project has been not only challenging due to my triple, I guess you could say, occupational or life status, being in part-time Army National Guard, full-time employed by Halton, and full-time student, but it has been challenging in other ways regarding technology that I did not foresee. And of course, a couple of employees left in my company, and it's stretched us thin, and we've had to fill in the gaps there as well, and develop new processes to streamline training for our newer employees, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, let's get into this. I'm going to start off by going over what my original expectations for this senior project was by going to my original project proposal. And I'm just going to go over this goal slide. So number one was to develop a Modbus tool, right? Um, and the Modbus tool was so we can avoid troubleshooting in the field for hours on all of our Modbus devices. We have LIR2 sensors, high voltage power supplies. We have IEQ sensors, VFDs, all these electrical components that utilize Modbus communications protocol. Um, Sometimes we have issues with them in the field, and unless you're a software engineer, you really don't know how to troubleshoot them a lot of times. So the whole goal was to develop a tool that could ping that device using Visual Basic of applications software, talking to another software that I was researching into, and coding all that to where you could ping a device, search and find multiple devices based off of their configuration, identify them, and configure them properly instead of just replacing the part and throwing money at it. Um, the second goal of the senior project was field service time labor tracking, reducing hours on site, whether it be through the Modbus tool or other means, and just overall data tracking. And what ended up happening was this turned into a process improvement thing. So let's get into what ended up happening. So with the Modbus tool, again, it had to go on the back burner for a multitude of reasons. So the first reason was that two technicians quit. There's only four of us. Halton's kind of a small company. We cover the entire country. I'm one of four travel technicians that go all over the country. Um, the two that quit were our senior guys, and I immediately had to step up and fill in for them. So we have two new technicians now as far as April, and due to that, I had to drop Modbus tool development completely. Between, like I said, the Army National Guard, school, and those two quitting, for about a month there, for the month of March, I was stretched really thin. And I'm not making excuses. That's just how it is. I mean, I'm one man. I can only do so much. Um, I kept my research hours up, but we had to kind of audible here, and we shifted from a Modbus tool development to process improvement, and I'll get into that now. So the main reason, not only did two technicians quit, that we also had to drop the Modbus tool because of we were having adapter issues. So the RS-45 adapters for the communications protocol that I purchased and mentioned in my January and February reports, we still couldn't get them to work even with third-party already made Modbus tools. And with that being said, I don't know if those third-party tools are just incompatible with our software or if those adapters that we purchased and tested are just cheap and faulty. I don't know. But without a working tool, I can't confirm that. And I tried multiple tests to get them verified, and I just couldn't get anything to work. The second thing with a Modbus tool, the reason that it got put on the back burner was IT challenges. So I think I mentioned it in my March report. I was able to get with research and development and figure out they had started a Modbus tool. Um, they started developing it roughly 3 or 4 years ago. They had the baseline of the code structure done in, it was LabVIEW. The problem is there's one lab view spot in the entire company, and it belongs to the electrical engineer in research and development at Halton. Because of that, I couldn't even use the Modbus tool base code that they had because I don't have LabVIEW and can't get LabVIEW for the company. And I can't, I'm not paying for LabVIEW. I don't even know how much it is. It's probably insane. Um, so that gets into the IT challenges and software seating. So after speaking to my manager, we just shifted. We had to, like I said, audible back to goal number 2, and we started looking at process improvement goals. So in my March and April reports, I kind of went over this. So in March, I submitted a YouTube video kind of going over this, but it's finalized now. So one thing that I finalized and was able to get a process improvement um, kind of box checked in was this parts revision form. And you may notice this looks a lot different than it used to. So in my original YouTube video I posted, I believe in March, I didn't have pictures. It wasn't structured like this at all. It was just a list of random parts. So the goal of this sheet that we did is, and of course it's coded with Visual Basic as well with macro enabled push buttons. So before, as I demonstrated in this YouTube video, I believe in March, originally, if a tech wanted to submit a parts order, they would have to log on to Wi-Fi, log into this Cisco Secure Client VPN, then log into Microsoft Navision just to search for a part number. And you can see I'm about to go to Microsoft Navision in this video right here. And then I believe Navision crashed. And this was at, you know, 2:38 p.m. So, yeah, it crashed. So, yeah, that proved my point while I was making that video on why technicians need a different method of ordering parts in the field. So what we ended up doing was we created this sheet here. So any common consumable that is ordered often by a technician in the field, so relays, light fixtures, PLCs, speed controllers, transformers, inverters, power supplies, all kinds of stuff. And this list will get bigger and bigger as more consumables become noted. And of course, that will be done through research and just basic analysis of trending data on how often are we replacing parts. So anyway, now instead of having to go from Wi-Fi to VPN to Microsoft Navision to search the part number to pull the part number to draft an email, you just press this button. It's crazy, isn't it? So, and all that's required is you entered in your job name. Let's just say Google, because we have done jobs for Google. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to say, is it a warranty job or is it a quote? So it's a warranty. And then you're just going to put attention to me, phone number, whatever. But you need to fill in, you have to have data in all of the blue blocks, absolutely. Um, we have it coded in such a way that uh, the blue blocks are required. So let's just put any kind of data in there. Oop, forgot. Yep, here we go. Okay, so let's just pick a random state. Like I said, we're just filling out random data. And then we want quantity. Let's say we want one of those and 2 of these. Then what you have to do, you just press this fancy send email button. Oh, see, and it's going to give you a prompt. These must be filled in, cells B12 to B16. Just go look at B12. Yep, I left that one out. There we go. There it goes. So, I actually wonder if that did send the parts. If so, I apologize, parts, because that goes to our parts.us email. I forgot to change the code to where it doesn't immediately to where it doesn't go for parts and purposes as demonstration. Regardless, I'll take that up with them in the morning. But yeah, so it works. It sends the email. In fact, I might be able to actually pull up the email and prove that it's sent. Oh yeah. Yes, it did. Okay, well that's great. It works. So yeah, I proved it to you. That's sorry, that's just funny because now parts is going to be so confused in the morning. I apologize again, Amanda and Glenn. So, proof of concept. Now, let's say I want to save this for future use. I can just press save entered address, and then next time I pull up the spreadsheet, I can just load that address with this button into this sheet. So that takes over the parts order sheet um, completely. So, like I said, instead of having to jump from application to application to application and then hoping Microsoft Navision doesn't crash and hope you have Wi-Fi, all you need is Wi-Fi or a mobile hotspot, and you just send this email. That's it. It's done. You have all the part numbers. You don't have to look anything up. You don't have to look up the job number, anything. Everything's right here. You just send email. So this actually, our new technicians have already started using this. It's already being fielded. It's already cutting time down. It's just super convenient. And honestly, speaking to the parts personnel, they prefer this as well because when they get emails, now it's just all in a streamlined format, and they all match. You know, they have the same format every time they get a parts order now, instead of it just being chaos. So that's one process improvement thing I've done. Um, the second one was how we do our startup reports. And I believe I started talking about this in March, but now it is also finished. And for sake of not sending another email, I will not um, I will not press this button. I can press this button all day, but I won't press this button because I don't want to send another email. But this does work. We have fielded this. This is our standard startup report template now. So used to, you just had a basic Excel sheet that just had a bunch of check boxes like this, and you just check yes and no, and you would email an Excel sheet to the customer, which is kind of a security issue, and not in the sense of cybersecurity, in the sense of Halton security, Halton liability, because you're sending the customer an Excel sheet that they can edit answers on via these blocks. I don't know why we ever did that. So now what we do, if you notice here, we have these macro enabled push buttons that says save report as PDF and email to service. So instead of you having to make this Excel sheet, copy it to an email, send it to service and the customer, all you have to do as a field tech is save this report with this button. It will convert it to a PDF for the customer, email that to service, and service will email that PDF to the customer. So you no longer are getting into any liability issues by sending a potentially editable document to the customer. And I can show you here. We're still working on getting some of the bugs worked out of the format because sometimes it just doesn't, it's not really happy with the PDF forms. But you can see here it generates two folders for you, Excel copies and PDF. So a recent one I just did was HFS when I was in Washington, D.C. this week, yesterday. So you can see here, I have a nice little PDF generated. I did my startup, got my unit values and all my CFMs. This is all checked out. None of it's editable. No liability here. Got some job site issues. And then we can go to Excel copies. And you'll see the same exact thing. And you notice MBS was also in here as well. So, and this is, like I said, this is another just process improvement thing we've done. Yep, you can see all the same data, just the Excel version. Macros have been disabled. I'm not going to enable that. Again, don't want to send any emails. I'm going to close that out. But yep. One thing I can demonstrate is that, so let's say you have a multiple kitchen hood system, which is what we're known for. We're known for primarily kitchen hoods. Boop. Oh, there's another hood. Oh no, man, it's a 10 hood system. I'm gonna hit this 8 more times. Guess what? I'm gonna have 8 more hoods, 8 more hood spreadsheets. Look at that. Much more simple, much more convenient. And again, you're getting rid of that potential liability by sending the customer a Excel sheet. So now I'm done kind of discussing the process improvement. I can go into um, kind of the HSN structure changes. So due to the loss of the technicians, the two senior technicians, we ended up restructuring the department. Um, that's when I kind of started, like I said, having to pivot away from the Modbus tool. Now I will to backpedal a little bit here. This is still in development. This is still on the back burner. It is still in the spotlight, just not right now. So I'm actually doing a internship for my last semester this summer for Western Kentucky University, and I will be working on the Modbus tool during my internship as well. So I have not forgot about this. This is not something I'm just forgetting. However, I am going to have to figure out a different method to do it. It's going to take a lot more labor hours than I thought. Um, so just to kind of go over everything here and kind of summarize it. Um, as you know, via my monthly reports and my midterm report, um, our total hours for the entire year research was 30. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but again, um, that is just pure research. That is not, me constructing a test bench or me running tests in the field to doing research in the field. None of that. That is just me having consultations with management, consultations with IT, consultations with research and development, and just sitting at my PC studying Modbus, studying RS-45 communications, looking for adapters, the actual purchasing, um, everything. So much went into just getting to where I was, and still I wasn't even able to get completed. So this again will be on the back burner for now. But what I was able to do, and I have tangible results with this, was work with my manager and get the process improvement items completed. So that's the big takeaway from this semester. Uh, like I said, part-time Army, full-time student, full-time employment by Halton, lost two technicians in the field. Um, again, not making excuses, but we have made some impact. We've made some change, and we're getting somewhere. And throughout my internship, that's kind of the goal is to that's why I volunteered for the internship rather than elective, so I can continue this research through my internship rather than just giving up. Like, oh, my senior project's done, I'm done. No, that's not how this works because this is a career for me, and this is something that I need to see through. So the Modbus tool will be completed. I even made it a personal goal and a professional goal with my manager, and I will continue process improvement, especially now that I am in a senior role in the field, and I have two fellow employees that I'm having to kind of take under my wing and train right now. Um, so the scope of work has changed, but it's still beneficial to the organization. It's just a different form of beneficial. We're still completing this goal, time and labor. We're cutting down on time and labor just with these process improvement Excel sheets. Um, 'Cause like I said, you're not having the vision crash on you anymore. I can show you, which I deleted them, but I can show you emails, just constant emails from nav issue right there, like constant nav issues. Um, yeah, unexpected. Like, and this was today. Yeah, so that was a much needed thing. Um, cannot stress that enough. We're saving a lot of time out of that, and of course, the more we use it, I'll finally start being able to recording actual metrics throughout my internship. But um, I apologize that this is kind of a sloppy last minute put together video. It's just I was really hoping I would have a tangible tool to bring to the table during the end of my senior project. However, that just wasn't the case. There's just a lot in life going on. My employer itself has faced challenges. I have faced challenges, and due to a culmination of everything, we like I said, we had to audible, and but we have tangible results. Like I said, we have two working spreadsheets, and they're cutting down on hours already, and we're going to continue working on process improvement, continuous improvement, and um, I will get back on the Modbus tool as soon as I can. But I just want to thank the staff at Western Kentucky, um, all my professors this semester, especially since it's my last full-time semester. I have one more class, and thank you all for the opportunity to learn. And this gave me something. This was a huge learning experience. I learned more in this research project. Not to mention, I passed the ATME exam. That was another thing that really motivated me in this class. Um, I know some people might think capstones or research projects are a waste of time, but this was something that was true, real world to me, and it was a part, I made it a part of my job. I literally made it a part of my job, and I just thank everyone for just sticking with me. And again, I apologize for um, this not being the cleanest, most thought out presentation. I just got back from, uh, I was in Seattle Friday, Saturday, Sunday, flew from Seattle to Nashville Sunday, got on a plane Monday, went to Richmond, Virginia, and then drove 2.5 hours north of Washington, D.C. Monday night, worked in Washington, D.C. Um, Tuesday, and flew back home today. So, again, I'm just stretched thin, and I appreciate the patience in this video and just sticking with me to the end. And just know that I will continue keeping on. And again, thank you for watching.